Welcome to Real Outdoors Captain's Roundtable. We are up here in Acme, Michigan, which is just outside Traverse City, at the Bayview Inn. A wonderful host for today's episode. We got to give a shout out to our sponsors, Captain Chuck's, 2 in Ludington, and also Ludington Beverage. So let's meet these captains and get the show on the road.
Captain Luke Springstead, Traverse City, Michigan, with True Blue Charters.
Captain Brian Springstead, True Blue Charters, Traverse City, Michigan.
All right, so for today's topic, we're going to talk about Grand Traverse, the whole area, Grand Traverse Bay, the kind of whole northwest corner of Michigan, and the outdoor activities and fishing activities that are prominent all over up here that kind of underlooked many times. I don't think a lot of people spend time up here fishing where there's lots of touristy things to do, but the fishing is outstanding as well.
Oh yeah, fishing's. I'm born and raised here, right here in Acme, where we're at the Bayview Inn right now, and you got East Bay right here, which of course people think of Traverse City, they think of East Bay and West Bay, and the part of the Great Lakes and the salmon, lake trout, and then the last few years, last 10, 15 years, probably the smallmouth bass fishery, world class. I mean, unbelievable up here. And then the lakes that people don't think about would be Torch, Elk, Crystal. Everybody hears about those lakes, but for fishing, it's incredible. I mean, we have the world record muskie right over here. I mean, just
no kidding,
few miles away from us right here, and they keep breaking it. The world record keeps coming from this water right here. The Torch Lake, chain of lakes, Lake Skeegamog, all that. Lake Bel Air. Well, they're all connected through that waterway. Elk, Torch, Lake Bel Air, all these. And, you have Atlantic salmon there, muskie, huge northerns, perch.
Steelhead.
Yeah, good steelhead fishery in those lakes. And then you've got, there's some walleye fishing up here. There's a small group of guys that do real well. Not me, but a small group of guys that do really good. And Long Lake, Lake Leonard are the two primaries. It's not huge, but it's enough to keep people's interest up here.
Yeah, so I came up last year, was the first year up in northern Michigan, and we were on Burton Mullet, and that's an incredible fishery there as well.
Oh yeah,
and tremendous vacationing areas. They're not exceptionally overpopulated.
Nope.
And but lots of opportunities, especially with all these vacation rentals and stuff. Now you can kind of rent a house, go up there for a week, spend a great time, and most of the lakes all seem to interconnect.
They do
with these channels, and
yeah, it gets a little busy midday and afternoons on like an Elk or a Crystal in the summer because those are big tourist lakes. I mean, that's water sport lakes, so you can fish in the morning, and then have water sports the rest of the day. Wineries, casinos. This is tourist mecca up here. I mean, there's everything. The views, the Sleeping Bear Dunes, beaches. It's incredible.
So now you guys have a boat here on East Bay, but yep. I think the bays are pretty similar in there.
Very similar, yes.
And so kind of maybe give a rundown of like starting in the spring, and then what are your primary targets as far as not necessarily charters, but as far as what the bays have to offer?
Well, the spring, you'll see a ton of folks out there in the spring with the spot lock technology now, with the trolling motors, and there's shallow water casting for Cisco's.
Oh yeah,
and you'll catch your lake trout doing that too. But you'll see, it's you can almost go anywhere out here, West Bay, East Bay, toward the tip of the peninsula. You're getting in that 20-foot, 30-foot of water, casting up, letting it sink to blade baits typically, letting it sink to bottom, work it back to the boat. The action can be incredible, and you're going to get smallmouth. So you almost don't know what you're going to hook. But that Cisco fishery is what a lot of people are coming here in the spring, in that shallow water fishery to do. Charters, we're doing the Cisco's jigging, of course, but we're doing the lake trout trolling in that shallow water, one colors, planer boards, 2 colors, 3 colors. Just like you guys do the browns down there.
Sure.
We're doing that up here, but for lake trout.
I catch browns up doing that. That's about the only time I catch browns up here.
Up here?
Yeah.
Yeah, and your plants are pretty low on the brown.
We just quit planting them.
They just
We
quit because I think we're getting them in Ludington now. The ones that you normally
we kept
would.
putting them out, and we were getting no return. Now you go back 25 years ago, we had a great brown trout fishery here, and then nobody knows why. Lots of ideas. We keep putting them out. We get no return on them, and so we just finally said, "Yeah, give us more steelhead, give us more trout."
So then, as far as the smallmouth, now the smallmouth here, like trophy class smallmouth fishery.
Huge.
If you you want to catch a fish of a lifetime, the smallmouth are here to do that. Now, is that a pretty consistent fishery through the summer, or is it
tough in the summer
once it gets too warm?
Yeah, a lot of the smallmouth guides up here will transition to lake trout fishing or salmon fishing even, because the bass. I mean, you can catch bass all year, but it just gets tougher for the clients to consistently pick up on those deep bites, so they move to something else. But they're fall, when these fish are on the feed right now, you can go out in this 25, 30 foot of water. I mean, right out here, and these smallies. I mean, if it's not over 8 pounds, nobody even pays attention to it. I mean,
That's incredible.
You know, these are toads.
That's an incredible fishery. That's really cool.
Yeah. So
And then,
perch fishing the other day out here, and we have a good perch fishery. It's hit and miss, a lot of small ones, but we have a really good perch fishery right here now. So you'll be fishing perch, and you'll hook these smallies. So your line just comes straight up, and it's a hoot.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But I think that especially over here, East Bay, the charters, it's mainly some exceptional lake trout fishing. I know I call up here to Luke and see how the fishing's going, and every time it's like, oh, we only got 12 in the first hour. Pretty good fishing.
Yeah, we're spoiled.
Yeah.
And within a couple 100 yards of the buoys from the marina, a lot of times.
Never even have to go on plane. That's pretty incredible. Plus, both of the bays are fairly, other than probably a north wind, fairly calm conditions.
I think we lost 3 trips all summer to weather and wind.
That's incredible. I lost 10 trips in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
To wind.
Yeah, west wind, we're protected. South, east, even a northwest, which we get a lot, we're protected. It's that straight north, right down the pipe, that gets us, and that's rare.
Yeah. Wow. So now we're moving into fall. Do you guys see? You'll see limited salmon, but you do see some salmon.
Yeah, we had a good coho run this year, and those will continue. Almost to November. The coho fishery. In close to shore, casting Arctic spinners, Cleos, any kind of casts, spawn fishing even. The guys chasing Cisco's will catch them, because right now, from now till ice, the Cisco fishing just gets better every day.
No kidding.
Oh,
so what are you using to target those? Like what specific baits?
P-line jigs. The Jonah jigs here is made in town. Swedish pimples.
So similar to what they're using with the salmon vertical jigging as well?
Same thing.
Just smaller?
Yeah, we tend to go a little smaller and a little lighter hook. You'll have a Cisco jig with a lighter hook down, and you'll start hooking cohos and kings on it, and all of a sudden your hooks are shot.
Yeah.
So when we're targeting the kings or the cohos jigging, we'll try to go to a 4X or something, a lot stouter hook.
Sure.
Yeah, but other than that, same jig.
And Cisco, for people that don't know, is a lake herring.
It's a lake herring, 3.5 to 5 pounds, super aggressive fish, readily bites. If you find them, you're probably going to catch them. They fight. They're super fast fish. So on light tackle, we're using 8-pound, typically fluorocarbon leader on a 10-pound braid, and lighter spinning rods, and they're taking line. There's drag. I mean, it was 2 weeks ago. I had John up, a buddy from Wisconsin, where we fished 3 days. First day we caught so many fish, our shoulders hurt so bad. and mostly it was Cisco. We had some kings thrown in and some lake trout, but the Cisco's tore us up. And the second day is like, no. Done.
Well, that's very cool. I'm hopefully got to get up here and try the Cisco thing one of these days for sure.
Do it after this.
I keep threatening to come up here, but it's like for me to get up, it's hard with little kids and stuff at home. But our seasons are pretty much wrapping up at this point. We'll have a bit of a lull until steelhead starts, but that's once the water's got to cool down. Our offshore fishery is good, but there again, it's really hard to get out there.
The weather.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we'll have a good jigging fishery on the Cisco's and then some perch fishing all the way through November, weather permitting. It's almost year round here.
And how long do you offer charters? Like
right till ice. We added that Lund this year, so we've got a 20-foot brand new Lund with the spot lock and all the toys on it, and that's been great for jigging. We can troll with it, but I don't. I'd rather go out and jig. So we'll do perch trips on that in Cisco, and we can take it to elk or torch or wherever we want to go. So we're moving more into that center part of the season, and Luke's running the big boat for trolling, the smaller boat fishery, ice out, Cisco's and perch, lake trout jigging in the spring, and then the fall perch, Cisco, and then go fish lake trout and elk or torch or something like that.
Well, and I think too the other thing up here is like you come up for a week, bring your wife. Bring your children with you. And it doesn't matter the age of your children. There's lots to do. You have Traverse City, Charlevoix, Boyne City, Bel Air. It's all just a quick jaunt from here. And the fishing opportunities, it sounds like, for small children to adults and probably even, grandma and grandpa. So
a majority of our clients, would you say, Luke, this year were, again, families. With 2-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 7-year-olds, just kids. And they love to be on the water. They love the lake trout. And that's our clientele. They come to Traverse City as a family to do all the beach stuff and everything else. And they throw some fishing into the mix. And then we see those kids come back the next year and the next year and the next year. And I'm taking people now that I took as kids. Now I'm taking their kids.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's the cool thing with chartering. You definitely create a big family, and you hear, Jim couldn't come this year because he's having his first child, or this, John's getting married, or whatever it is. But you're really kind of included in all that, and the Christmas cards, and it's really pretty a neat deal. So definitely, you want to come up here, you want to take a look at this, get a hold of these guys. I'll put their information right down here, and come up, check it out. Sounds like there's a lot of opportunities to be had. There's a lot of social opportunities up here. There's always a festival. It seems like there's always the breweries, the wine,
oh my gosh,
the wineries, everything is
now. With vodkas and whiskeys, Traverse City whiskey, and all the wineries. Ciders. I mean, you could spend 2 weeks up here just doing wineries and ciders. I mean, we're a pretty drunk town.
Well, they kind of, Petoskey's right here in Harbor Springs and Bay Harbor, and I mean, it's a lot of neat little towns, kind of those like your Pentwaters by Ludington or Saugatuck, these small little towns that have a lot to offer.
Just a little day trip, go have a nice lunch. A lot of outside dining, even here at the Bayview. We got the deck. We're on the deck every day. We get our trips done in the morning. We're at the Bayview. All the captains are here, and then we're back out to the water.
Yeah, this is definitely, if you're in Acme, just east of Traverse City, if you're here, check out the Bayview. They've been a nice host for us today, and also, don't forget to try a Busch Light for sponsoring this episode as well. And Captain Chucks, as always, for helping me out and making this all possible. But if you want to get up here, check out the Springsteads. Check out their website here. You can contact them and get out on that water. I'm sure they'll tell you about some of those tourist honey holes, too.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, we hope to see you again next week.